Hello everyone. Yes, well, time for a vlog. If you probably can see that I'm not in my usual place, I'm not in my flat, I'm currently in a hotel room. And the reason for that is because basically on Saturday, my flat complex caught, there was a fire, but we're all okay. I'm okay. Basically, what happened was the fuse box, something, something went wrong with the fuse box and caused a fire. It was a wrong connection with the wires or something, and I was on my bed at the time, resting, when the fire alarm went off. So I quickly went and grabbed some clothes, put some clothes on. I went to my bedroom window and said, right, you've got to get out. And people were down there and said, right, you've got to get out, the place is on fire. So, yeah. Um, Now, when I opened my front door, all I could see was the smoke, and I could smell the smoke as well. Obviously, that was bloody worrying. So, but then what I did was I quickly just covered my nose and mouth with my shirt. I made sure I just had my keys, that were it, and out I went. Now, I couldn't see where I was going. I could only see. I could just about make out where the stairs were going through the smoke, and I managed to get down the stairs okay. I remember briefly calling for help because when I was making my way downstairs, I could feel I was inhaling a bit of the smoke, despite the fact that my mouth and nose were covered, and I did start to cough, and I do remember calling for help. But for a moment I thought there were people in front of me, but no, I managed to make it down the stairs. I could see the fuse box and I saw the flames. That was quite frightening. So yeah, I made it out okay, I was fine. But I was taken to hospital. They did all the tests in the ambulance, like my blood pressure, my blood pressure, and my heartbeat. And they all seemed to be fine. Just feeling, felt a bit of discomfort from some slight smoke inhalation, which went up my nose. They checked my throat, and everything was okay. But yeah, then I went to the hospital, and they did the blood tests. Then they rechecked my heart, and my heartbeat, and it all came back fine. I was out of the hospital. I was discharged from the hospital within an hour. Then I've been at my mum's for the past 2 days, but now all of us from the complex have been relocated to a local Premier Inn, which we probably will be here for the week. I can now go to the flat to get stuff. Luckily, those fireproof doors, they really did their job. There's no damage to my accommodation, hopefully to none of the others either. And everything in it is absolutely fine. A bit of a traumatic weekend, but I'm all okay. I'm doing just fine. I'm turning in soon because it's getting late. My mum dropped me off here when she finished work, which was quite late. I'm going to be here at this Premier Inn, probably estimated for a week. I think there's a minimum of 3 days, but I wouldn't be surprised if they get it all sorted by then. But anyways, I've got somewhere nice and comfortable to stay. The only slight issue will be getting into town. Obviously, I don't have a car or a motor, so I may just have to make use of taxis to get to town and back. But all the other tenants are here, so if they plan to get a taxi into town, because there's only one of us, I think, there's only one of us that's got a car. I don't know I don't think he's actually brought it with him, so we could make use of splitting taxi fares or things like that. But yeah, so I'm fine. I've been keeping on my mum's sofa for 2 nights. It was a nice sofa, but of course it's nice to now be somewhere with a nice bed to sleep in, and you know, you know, got my own space again, which is good. So yeah, a bit of a surreal experience. It's not something you think would probably happen to you, but you know, just a real eye opener, to be honest, that these things do happen, and you have to be prepared for them. Yeah, quite hard. But let's say when we get back, we'll just have to, however the situation's going to be dealt with, investigations that will take place. Um, Honestly, I don't know, but we'll just have to see how things go, and hopefully, it just won't be too long before we can all go home and, get back to normal. I certainly know I'm going to just make sure everything will be properly in place so that should anything like that happen again, there'll be certain things in place so I can just get straight out. Um, yeah, but I'm okay. There was no damage. Luckily, I had all the tests. There was no damages. No, I got no damage. Just a slight bit of smoke inhalation up the nose, but it was fine. It all just happened very suddenly, so it was quite a shock. It was a good job that I agreed to go to hospital just to be checked out, but then was out in less than an hour, discharged, and then my mum came to get me. And of course, I was very lucky that I've got my mum to stay with. And we were supposed to originally stay at the Travelodge, which would have been more convenient considering the Travelodge is right in the centre of town. So I'd have still had my independence, freedom. I've still got that now when I can get to town. I'll just have to make use of probably taxis, since I don't think the bus service is running at this current time. It probably isn't a good idea to go on the bus, but we'll just have to see what happens. We've got places we can go to eat. They've given us all breakfast boxes here, which is good. But yeah, there's a McDonald's, there's a pub, and there's a garage. We've got to get stuff. Obviously, to go to cheap places, or we'll have to go to town. But yeah. So yeah, quite hectic. But got out okay. Everything's fine, and just a real eye opener. It doesn't happen to people. It doesn't happen to everyone, but it's not something I think we think will ever happen to us. We'll ever face a house fire, because of course we all hope we don't. But the important thing is I had that brief moment of being a little bit petrified. Going downstairs in that smoke. But yeah. But I got out. I'm okay. That's great. And luckily, I think everything seems to be intact in my accommodation. So yeah. So yeah, not the nicest of weekend tales, but the important thing is that I'm okay and that everyone else is okay. Yeah. I called just to say, when I was in the ambulance on the way to the hospital, that's when I called my mum. It was a bloody shock of course it was a shock for her, and my sister was on the way home from work, and she actually saw the sirens going, the fire engines and ambulances, and she did say she had this very, very peculiar, this very sort of odd, one of those sort of little premonition things that it could have been something to do with us. And I think then I ring my mum saying I'm in an ambulance into hospital. I've just come out of just got out of the place on fire. I remember we were stood outside for about 10 minutes, and that's when the fire brigade arrived. They put the fire out, and some, there was thankfully, lots of neighbours and people from the street, came out and helped us out. They got ladders to help get to two tenants who couldn't get out themselves, because unfortunately they weren't able to see where they were going. But yeah, but I think we're all okay. It's so strange because the last time I was in hospital, I wasn't actually in. Well, I was given a hospital bed basically to lie on while they did the test when I got to the hospital, but I didn't. There's no need to settle down or anything. I didn't think I'd have to be kept in overnight. Luckily, I wasn't. But yeah. So I went and stayed with my mum and my sister for 2 days, and my sister's boyfriend, who's been really awesome. Cooked us all dinner on Saturday night when I got back, and then pretty much Sunday, apart from obviously keeping on my mum's sofa, life has been pretty much back to normal. So yeah, so I just thought I'd come and to let people know what's happened, and just let you know that I'm okay. Thanks all for your support. You're all awesome. I'm aware that it has made the local paper, has made the local news on the website, and likely when the next issue is printed on Thursday, it will be in there as well. So yeah, but yeah, all seems to be good, as good as it can be. So yeah, okay, so we'll leave it there. So thanks all for watching. You are all awesome, and I'll see you soon. Ciao.